Meanwhile, a Wellington couple on their honeymoon are celebrating a narrow escape after slips and flooding washed out parts of the Routeburn track, almost wiping out the hut they were sheltering in. Brett Studholme and his husband, David, had just left the Lake McKenzie Hut as bad weather closed in. Brett told me just before the track was closed, they crossed a waterfall before making their way through a landslip knee-deep in mud to forge their way to the Howden Hut.
We were so relieved we made it to the next hut, and our gang that had left early in the morning had already arrived at this place, which was, so good to see them safe and through as well. And that was great. And then we had a great night. We were having such a fun night. I mean, the water was out, there was all this flooding, and so, the flush toilets were off, the water was off, but our ranger in the hut, Andrea, was incredible. She kind of, because people were at the end of their walk but were stuck at this next hut, so she was cooking up this big feed for everybody out of her own supplies from her hut, and we were playing games and we were having a really nice night, and we thought hopefully tomorrow, people were fingers crossing we were going to get out on a chopper. If not that, they're going to send in some help to help us get out on the land.
So you went to bed, did you, Brett? And then obviously woken up in the wee small hours of the morning?
Yeah, so we all went to bed at a kind of reasonable hour, read our books and went to sleep, and so my experience, I put earplugs in because of snorers in the cabin, and my next awareness was this shaking and noise, and my consciousness kind of came to and kind of thought it was an earthquake, and then I fell. So in a few split seconds I just heard shaking, noise, and then my whole bunk, I was on the top level of a bunk, my bunk just fell down, collapsed. I jumped off and saw that my bunk had collapsed on a young woman under me, so I quickly kind of heaved up the bunk, and my partner and some other people dragged her out from underneath where she'd been kind of crushed there. Luckily, my partner's an emergency doctor, so he checked her over. She was pretty bumped and bruised, but nothing that looked like it was broken or anything there.
What did the hut look like?
Yes, sorry, Lisa.
The hut? I'm just interested.
The hut. So our bunk room was smashed through. Other people heard this noise. People kind of were saying that they thought it was thunder, or just kind of half listening, because it's been thunder and lightning for a couple of days. So people thought it was a bit of thunder, and then the guy in the bottom bunk actually heard something hit the wall, jumped up out of his bed, and then this huge tree branch just came through his wall. And if he hadn't have jumped up, he would absolutely have been taken out. He would have been gone from this branch that had come through, this tree that had come through the wall. So the huts were in a hut. Our bunks had fallen down. It was just flooding with mud. It was kind of walls broken. We went downstairs. The whole hut was kind of on a lean. The main entrance exit was blocked. You couldn't get, it was jammed. You couldn't get out. A few of the kind of support beams in the bottom floor were cracked, were broken like a pencil. People were kind of supporting the roof with chairs. We all ended up, our ranger on site, Andrea, and actually the really cool group of people that were there were great about making sure everybody was sitting by an emergency window escape or, out on the deck there. But yeah, the hut was mangled, but it was so, we had no idea what time it was. Checked the time, it was 1 a.m. I mean, that's 5 hours until light. So we were sitting. We didn't know what was outside. We didn't know what was going on. But for 5 hours, we all quickly got into our wet weather gear in case we had to, go. Not that there was anywhere to go. So we were sitting in our wet clothes from the day's hike, wet socks, wet boots for 6 hours. Some people were really cool and got into playing cards. I was terrified. I was worried about more landslide coming down to clear us out completely. I was worried about the lake right in front of us that was rising so quickly because we think the landslide had kind of blocked off the outtake of the lake. So we were watching this lake rise. And I was also terrified of the building coming down on top of us because it was at a jaunty, crazy angle. So for the whole night, I was just on edge, looking forwards, backs and above.
This morning, when you're sat there, what happens? Do you hear a chopper coming over a ridge or something dramatic like that?
We absolutely we were waiting for the choppers. We were getting feedback every kind of half an hour as to what's kind of going on, and we were hoping for the choppers. We were looking out, and, every 10 minutes there was zero visibility, and it was pouring with rain, and we're like, they can't come. And then 10 minutes later, there's a couple of hundred metres of visibility, and like, now's the time. So we were hearing through the radios that, this is happening all over Fiordland at the moment, the Milford stuff, everywhere. Ours was particularly hairy because, we had damage to the building, and we were quite unsafe. So we were waiting for the choppers, ready to go. But moods did really pick up in the morning once we kind of saw it all. Once we saw the danger, we felt a bit safer knowing exactly what was going on outside. And so, when that first of the chopper kind of came over, it was people were yelling with, it was super exciting. And they got us out so fast. They had a couple of choppers going. They were landing. We were ready. 6 on, off it went. Another one came in. We were ready on the deck. 6 on, off it went. The next one came back. We were all out, I don't know, in kind of half an hour. I mean, I just wanted to get out, I wanted to get out yesterday, to be fair, but from 1, a.m. this morning, I wanted to get out. We've got our 2-year-old daughter up with my parents in Christchurch, and I just really wanted to get home, so really happy to be out.